for an hour and a half at the most. And
Yeah, an hour would be
yeah,
solid. That's perfect.
no problem. All right. And we are good. It is 7:33 p.m. my time, and we're going to go till 8:30 or so at the longest. Hello, everyone. I'm Michael Pierce. And so actually, well, maybe we should have discussed this beforehand. I don't know how much information you're okay with, like how we know each other, your name, obviously your type is a part of it.
Everything. Yeah,
Okay.
everything's good.
Well, I'll just let
I'm
everybody
looking
know
good.
that this is my younger sister. This is Jessica, and I am paranoid about anything else over the interweb, so we'll leave it at that. But my beloved younger sister, and I am of the opinion or the belief that she is an ESFJ. Now, Jessica knows a bit about Jungian typology or my personality studies because I've told her a fair amount about it. But just like with the interview with an ENFJ, Brigham, um, uh, the whole point of this is I wanted to be able to give an example of what I believe a good example of an ESFJ is in real life, someone who I know but does not know a whole lot about typology. I wouldn't consider an enthusiast. So any introduction you want to give of yourself before we begin?
Um, I'm Jessica, and I'm Michael's little sister, and that's about all I got. I don't know what else to say.
Okay. Well, so Jessica, what do you like doing in your in your spare time? Yeah, I know
When I
the
actually
answers to
have
some of these
spare
questions.
time.
Yes.
Okay, I love figure skating. I did that all growing up, and it's still a big part of my life. I love swing dancing and just about any kind of dancing and photography. And I love filmmaking also. That hasn't been something that I've done a huge, well, okay, I haven't done that for a long time, but I still love watching movies and stuff like that and analyzing films and stuff. And just about anything outdoors. I love hiking and just being outside in nature and, adventuring. I love camping and music is cool too. Always love singing as loud as I can. So, yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
Excuse me. So let's go back to the figure skating.
Mhm.
Because so it's interesting interviewing you, of course, because I know I have certain intimate details already in mind. But what do you like about figure skating, Jessica?
Um, Everything really. I started doing it randomly when I was like 7. I just ended up I was walking to the bus stop with my mom or with mom, I guess if I'm talking to you, and I just decided to ask her. I said, "Mommy, can I learn how to ice skate?" And she looked at me a little bit confused and she was like, "What the heck? What? Oh, you want to ice skate?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want to ice skate." And so she said, "Well, we'll think about it." And like a week later, I said, "Mommy, when can I ice skate?" And this went on for a while. And finally, mom and dad, my parents, decided to give me ice skating lessons. And I just fell in love with it. I loved feeling like I could fly on the ice, like you just feel free. And so I think that's why I still love it now. It's like the one place besides like church related things that I feel free and like I feel like I can clear my head. So I just love being out there and flying.
Hmm. And you have done competitions and things like that in the
Yeah,
past.
for a long time I did.
Yeah. And that you excuse me, there was a whole there you've had to overcome some physical limitations, as it were. Or I don't know if I even want to call it limitations, but
Yeah,
um,
I'd say it's limitations.
yeah, with I don't know how
Definitely
much you
limited
feel like
me.
talking about. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know how
I
much
can.
you feel
It's
like. Well, talk about it.
Sorry, I was waiting for you to finish.
Speak now.
Yeah, so I was born actually with this interesting and unique need effect that doesn't happen very often. Long story short is there was a deformation. I don't really know how to call it, what to call it, but my knee dislocate. It dislocates, and I had that growing up. And we discovered it from playing soccer when I was in second grade, and so contact sports and stuff like that were kind of out of the deal for me. I couldn't really do them, and so skating turned out to be um, it was better for my knee. Actually, it helped to strengthen my thighs, which helped to keep my knee in place. But then when I got to the point in skating that I was competing a lot and doing double jumps and like just skating 24/7, it actually made my knee worse. And so I went through, let's see, I was about 13. I was in eighth grade and it started becoming a big deal. And my knee actually started dislocating like every week again. And it had gotten to the point where it was like every few months and it wasn't a big deal. When I was 5, it was every day, like multiple times a day. So it, of course, got better when I got older. But I was in like pain 24/7, like sharp pain. My knee dislocated a couple of really bad times when I was 13. Then after that, like I was just in straight pain for a year and couldn't do much of anything. My coaches would kick me off the ice because they knew how much pain I was in, but I'd still try to skate because I wanted to. And so I'd try to tell them that it didn't hurt, even though like I could hardly even put weight on it at the time. And they just be like, Jessica, get off the ice. Like this isn't helping you. And so I went to the doctor again. I went to my doctor at Johns Hopkins and he sent me to physical therapy. Physical therapy didn't help. And so when I was 13, the only other option to help my knee at that time was surgery. And so when I was 14, it was right after the summer after eighth grade, going into freshman year, I got knee surgery. And then 6 months later, it started happening again, and I was in pain again. And so then I got a second surgery over spring break of freshman year. But then since then, it's done really well. And skating hasn't really been as much in the picture since then because I had to basically retrain my leg how to do things. And it was just hard because I was back to square one with skating like I was when I was 5. And so I stopped competing at that point, of course. And for a couple of years, I didn't skate at all because it was just really heartbreaking to be on the ice and not be able to do things. But the past couple of years, since everything's gotten better with my knee and it's gotten stronger again, I've been able to skate. And like I'm actually out there like doing jumps and spins like I used to. Not nearly as well as when I was 10, 11, 12 years old and doing double jumps on the ice. But I can still do things now. And so it's fun to get out there with my friends and just goof off a bit. I don't compete anymore, of course. My knee changed that, but it's fun. I like it. I'm probably talking too much, but yeah,
No,
I hope all of that makes sense.
This is perfect. This is perfect. Um, so switching topics. Talk about your filmmaking for a little bit, because that was another thing that I particularly remember. In fact,
Yeah.
the one thing that stuck with me is you did a film that was about you. What was it about? It was about you leaving for college, I thought.
Oh, the music video.
Yeah, it was a music video. I think you did it for a class or something, and you actually got mom cried when she watched it. I
And
remember
it
her
won an
saying,
award at the school.
"Oh, yeah." And I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask you about that competition in a minute, but just talk about your filmmaking.
Yeah. So, okay. This actually all falls into like with my knee surgery and stuff because obviously I couldn't skate and that took up so much time when I was a young teenager. And so all of a sudden I had all of this free time that I didn't know what to do when I wasn't at school. And so when I was recovering from the surgeries, I got a little bit into photography. But then freshman year of high school, I made just like a film for fun with my friends for a project that I had. It was actually just like do you remember when we did like the Son of Poseidon thing?
Oh,
Michael?
yes.
Yeah. So I did that for a class. And then my teacher liked it so much and she found out that they were having this like small little film festival thing. And she told me about it and said that I should do it. And so I was like, oh, that's a good idea. So then from then on, I just like loved making movies and filming and stuff. And I got really into it from there all the way through high school. And so senior year, I got into the Career and Tech Center, which is like it's off campus. It's this other campus in the county, and it's juniors and seniors, and it's all the entire county of like all the high schools. And it's got all these different programs. They have culinary arts, they have welding, they have video production, they have fashion and design, and cosmetology, and just like all of these different trades that you can get extra experience in. And so I got accepted into the video production program my senior year for a semester, and it was the best class I've ever taken. It was so much fun. It was just like this small little class. We all were best friends, super tight. I had the best teacher ever. And one of the projects that we did was a music video. And so I was getting ready to apply to BYU, which is the college that I always wanted to go to. And so I made a music video to the song This Is Love by The Script, which is one of my favorite bands. And it was basically just about like me packing and going to college. I was getting ready to leave for BYU, super excited, but it just like plays in the background. It shows me packing everything up in my room, and I'm going through and seeing all of these things from my past. Like I see like the skating medal that I won, and I see my ice skates, and I zip them up and pack them up, and then it like goes back and like shows like those moments in like back in the past and everything, and it just like kind of goes through my life, the most important things. And so it's basically a music video of me reminiscing before I go to college. And so that actually, it basically was what I was doing senior year. Like I was thinking about like growing up and all these things in my future and getting ready to graduate, and then, you know, thinking about all of my past and all these great memories that I had. And so it was basically just like my head into a music video right then. So that's still my favorite thing that I made, though. I loved it. But I love film. I haven't done it, any of it really, since I graduated high school. I've gotten more into photography since then, but I still love filming. It's great. It's a great way to, I don't know, to convey a message to an audience and to, I don't know, to express yourself, I guess. That's how I've always seen it is. It's how I express myself is film and photography.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I've seen a lot of your photography, obviously, over the years, and it's always been very well done, I would say.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Now, for those, and you don't have to answer this question, but for those who don't know, which would probably be the entire audience, what was the Son of Poseidon thing, Jessica?
Oh, so it was this project that we did. We had like freshman year, we had free reading books, right? And so we had to read like just books for fun. And then we had a project that we did on them. And it could be anything. Like some kids did posters, some kids, I don't even remember, like wrote other stories or analyzed them or whatever. But I did a couple of scenes from the book, the Percy Jackson book, The Son of Poseidon. And so I got a bunch of kids from church, like a bunch of my friends and everything together, and Michael, of course, and some of his friends. And we all got together and we made like this, like, I don't know, it was like 10 or 15 minutes, just a couple of different scenes from it. And seriously, it was super fun to do. Like, that's one of my favorite things about film is just like when my friends got together and everything, and we basically just goofed off for several hours and like made a movie at the same time. And it was really fun. And Michael played the war god. I can't remember his name now because it's been so long since I've been in mythology. Well, it was the Roman form of Ares.
Mars.
Mars, that's it. You played Mars / Ares because he's kind of both.
That's right.
Yeah, because it like brings in like the Roman mythology into the Greek mythology. So it gets confusing because there's different personalities. But yeah, he played that, and it was just really fun. Like, yeah, all of the kids in the class, like I didn't get to show all of it in class, but I showed a good portion of it, and they all loved it. They thought it was hilarious, like just awesome. So they were all super into it, and my teacher had to look at the time and be like, oh, snap, we ran out of time. So I had to turn it off, but she didn't even notice. Yeah, it was fun. That was like the first real film project that I did. Michael and I used to make movies together. Michael would do it with his friends, and then I would be able to like act him and stuff. But that was the first time that I actually filmed it and edited it. Usually I was just like some side actor goofing off with them, but I actually did that one, and then it was me from then on out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. There was another thing I was. Oh yes. If I'm curious, because the other interesting thing was when you did. It was an art fair, and you had submitted your piece to the film festival. Um,
I did that several
oh, you
times,
did that
so I'm
several
not sure
times.
which one you're referring to. Yeah.
I'm referring to the one where you and Mother came back out and were talking about how almost every single other film was a horror short, except for the one which was done by someone who was like 5 years older than everybody else, and it was for. Do you remember that?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you don't?
No.
You must have blocked it from your
Sorry.
memory. Dang it! I thought I could have gotten this one.
Probably.
That would have been great. Are you sure you don't remember this? Every single one was a horror short.
I
Like,
do
and
remember. Yeah, I remember.
you two were
That might have
appalled.
been just like my first one, like the first one I
Maybe.
submitted, and then I do remember like so many films at those festivals that I went to and submitted. They were just like these awful horror films, and I was just sitting there terrified the whole time, like, what the heck? This is so messed up. But
Mm,
like that's just like a general thing that I've noticed from when I submitted things is like everything that they submit is horror stuff. I'm not a huge fan of that because I think films are meant to be more inspirational and light and happy and you know good. They bring light into the world. Not and this is just my opinion, guys. So please don't get offended if you guys like horror films, but I don't like horror films. I think they're kind of messed up.
the only reason I'm pushing this is because I think that it helps to showcase elements of the personality that I'm looking for. So that's
Okay.
why
Yeah. No, I'm not a.
that's why I
I don't like horror stuff. Scary, gory. No thanks. So
yeah. Why do you
yeah,
think
don't take offense again, guys.
sorry.
It's just
Um
me.
no, I'm not a huge I definitely would not say I'm a fan of that either. Why do you
You're
think
not.
it is though? Just you okay?
Huh? Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Oh,
This is hot chocolate. I made hot chocolate even though it's 55 degrees out because I like hot chocolate. So yeah, don't judge.
you drink that hot chocolate. I'm not judging, and none of you people judge, or I'll come after you. As a
I
big
drink it
brother
in the
Wolverine.
summer. So anyway, okay,
So
continue.
I was just going to ask very briefly, why do you think it is that they would submit so many horror films? And also, if in conjunction with that, you were contrasting your own, maybe not just your own film style, but filming that you like or films that you do like, being almost the diametric opposite of what they were submitting. I don't know if you know what I'm asking. Um,
Why do so many people submit horror films and then
yes.
me in contrast is like
Why do
totally
you not?
opposite?
Why do you not make horror films? I think is the simplest
Okay,
way of putting
gotcha.
it.
I don't know. I think horror is actually a really popular genre. Like a lot of people like a good scare. And I think honestly, a lot of filmmakers have fun making them because just like the way that you like film them and everything is actually kind of fun. Like just like the filming style, a lot of people find to be fun and it's entertaining and engrossing. And so it brings people in and, but I personally don't like making horror films or I don't like them in general. Just I think it's partly the way that I grew up because I don't know, I was just raised in a way where you seek the goodness and you seek the light and you don't need to have all of these like awful images or dark things always in your mind. And so I think that naturally I just try to stay away from those dark things and like those scary things. I just try to keep like the light in my mind and thoughts as much as possible. And I'm not saying like it's a bad thing to watch horror films. But I definitely don't like having those kinds of images and thoughts in my mind. Like I don't really like thinking about murderers and slashers and dismembered body parts. I don't that's not what life is about for me. It's not about, that thrill of I don't know, whatever it is that people find entertaining about it. I just don't like that. I think that I can surround myself with good and happy things that are light. Help me be happy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense to some people, but
No, I'm sure it does. So yeah, moving to different subject. Trying to remember what that subject was. Darn it. Oh, that's right. So you went on an ecclesiastical mission
mhm.
for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Yes, I
So,
did.
so I don't know how much you care to talk about that or how much
I
detail,
could
but I'm
talk about it
curious.
all day.
Well, yes, that's
Really
part of the
could.
problem. But if you don't mind, just a couple highlights if you're able to
Mhm.
in the next few minutes, and it really is up to you to dictate what you want to talk about or how long or whatever. I mean, um,
Okay.
but that was very important. That was obviously a very important part, as it normally is
Yeah.
in anyone's life. And so I figured it would be relevant to give you a venue to speak about it. So
Nice. Thanks. Okay. So for anyone who's watching who isn't aware of what an LDS mission is, and we're talking about the Mormon faith, it is when young men and young women between the ages of 18 to like 24 or something around that time frame, young adults go and they serve a volunteer mission for the period of 18 months for girls and 24 months for boys. And we are called anywhere, just about anywhere in the world. We submit some paperwork and everything to our congregation leaders, and it goes to our mission head, not mission, our church headquarters. And we believe that essentially God is the one who decides where we're called. Our prophet, actually, who is the head of our entire church over the world, he's called by God to be a mouthpiece. He decides where we go, and it can be anywhere. And so I have friends who served in South Africa, friends who've gone to like South Korea, people who've gone, like I had friends who've served in DC. They weren't from Maryland though, so they were from like Utah. But I actually served in Salt Lake City. It's called the Salt Lake City East Mission in Utah, and it covers from like State Street in Salt Lake all the way to Rock Springs, Wyoming. And so it covers two different states. I served for about 10 and a half months in Park City. And then I served a while in the Salt Lake Valley down in like Cottonwood Heights, Holiday areas, if you're familiar with that in Utah. And then I also served 3 months in Lyman, Wyoming, which is this teeny tiny little town. It's like my companions and I always thought of it as Radiator Springs from Cars because it's like there's no traffic lights. The only light that you have, the closest thing to a traffic light is this one four-way stop, and it's blinking. It's a blinking four-way stop. So there's like these blinking red lights above the stop signs to make sure you see it. But like that's it. And that's like outside of the town. And then you go into Lyman and it's just like this teeny tiny town, like one main road. And it literally, and there's even like this tow truck on the side that looks exactly like Mater. It just sits there on the side. And it's the greatest thing ever. And there's like one cop car. It's so great. Anyway, so that was one of my favorite places to serve. But what we do as missionaries is we teach people about Jesus Christ, and we help them learn about Jesus Christ and the life that he would have them live so that they can prepare themselves to be baptized and to make promises with God to change their life and to live in accordance with what God would want. And so I spent 18 months doing this. I just got back in December, so I'm just starting my life again. But it was the best part. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe my mission, but it was definitely the hardest 18 months of my life because it's very emotionally and spiritually exhausting and challenging, but it was also the greatest. It's where I grew the most. And so we're with a companion 24/7 who's of the same gender as us. And we change off companions that we're with every few weeks, and we can change areas and everything too. We're assigned to a specific area where we teach people. Um, and I just had like amazing experiences there. The people that you meet um, are just incredible. I met some of the nicest people in the world who I'm still in contact with. Sometimes, like some of them, even on a regular basis. Actually, like I actually yesterday was just texting a couple that I served with, an older couple, and I served with them for like over half my mission when I was in Park City. And they're actually coming down to Provo next week, and so they wanted to have lunch with me. And this is the second time that we're doing it, and so it's just incredible. Like so many people I'm still in touch with. So many companions that I had, so many other missionaries that I served with. Like we're all getting together in a couple of weeks to have this big reunion of all of us who are home from our missions now. And so my roommate, he's not here right now. She was one of my missionary companions. And so I don't know. It's just a big part of my life because I'm still connected with so many different people. And it helped to change me so much. When I was 18, I had very little confidence. Like I was just a little shy girl, didn't really know what was going on. And the experiences that I had helped me to kind of my mission leader, my mission president is what we call him. He's assigned to help us and he's given authority and power to help us as missionaries. He would have said that I blossomed on my mission. That's the phrase that he would have used. But I grew so much and I became who I am today because of the experiences I had on my mission. And like honestly, I could talk about it all day. I don't really know exactly what to share with you all. That's kind of what a mission is and how it helped me. But I don't know. Like Michael, do you have any specific experiences that you want me to share or anything like that?
I don't know if I have any specific experiences. It's really just whatever you felt.
Mm-hmm.
This has been great. You just talking about it. It because obviously my main interest is in showcasing, letting your personality show itself forth,
Mm-hmm.
as it were. And so there's a number of different ways to do that. Um, but I don't really have anything specific in mind. I don't really know where to start actually, because you've had so many experiences on your mission, and I
I
didn't want to
know,
spend
right?
the entire interview with it. But
Mm-hmm.
what sticks out when I say pick an experience now? What was the first thing that came to your mind? And you can share that one.
Okay. So I'll share this one experience. It was when I was in Lyman, Wyoming, and I was in Lyman for 3 months from like the end of June until like October, right at the beginning of October. Um, and there was one family that we worked with, and the parents weren't members of the church; they weren't Mormon, but almost all of the kids at some point had been baptized by the missionaries who had come in the past. There were probably like three kids who weren't baptized. It was a huge family, like blended and everything mixed together. Most of them were all like actually siblings, but then a couple of the older ones were half siblings with the other kids from the mom. Um, but they were an interesting family. I loved them so much. We'd go over there, my companion and I, and we were teaching their 10-year-old daughter at the time. They had a 14-year-old son and a 15-year-old, no, 13-year-old daughter who also weren't baptized. And so we were kind of trying to teach them on and off, but they weren't super interested. But the 10-year-old, from like the first time that we actually met with her, we weren't even thinking of teaching her. We were thinking of teaching the 14-year-old son. And we had arranged this huge barbecue and everything with another family who were Mormon. And we were doing that in order to teach the 14-year-old son. But then he didn't show up, and the 10-year-old daughter did instead with her twin brother and their 9-year-old twin siblings as well. So, like, the four of them came. Three of them were baptized, and Cadence, the other one, wasn't. Probably shouldn't use her name. We'll call her Brianna instead. Um, but we showed her this video, and then it was about Joseph Smith and everything in the first vision. It's the first lesson that we teach as missionaries. It's the foundation of our church, really. And she turns to us at the end of the movie and she just says, so when can I be baptized? I really want to be baptized in the church. And we were like, wait, what? And we thought she had been baptized and everything because most of her siblings had. And then we found out she wasn't baptized. And so we taught her everything in 3 weeks, and she was baptized by so many different miracles. Like her mom was super sick, and then her mom was in Rock Springs, and she really wanted her mom at the baptism, and all of these crazy things were happening. And we weren't sure that she was going to be baptized on time, but she was baptized right before my companion actually went home for a mission. And so that was an incredible experience. And we just went back there. Me and my next companion went back there every week to teach them, keep teaching them the lessons and bring them to church. Those kids were just like the light of my life when I was there. They were so fun. There were so many of them, and they were crazy. And we always like would see them in the yard doing crazy things. And like one of them would wear like this morph suit half the time. And I was always like, what are you doing? But then every time they saw us out walking, they'd always scream and like come running over to us. And I'm still in touch with them today. Like when they found out I was home, they like messaged me on Facebook and like wanted to video chat with me and like have the whole family together and everything. They were just really good kids. They didn't have necessarily the best life or the life that they deserved, because there was so much that I wish that they could have had. But just with crazy home experiences and crazy financial things going on in their family, they deserved so much more. But because of the gospel, it gave them hope. And that was enough for them, you know, like they didn't necessarily know everything with the gospel. Like they did not know a whole lot about the church. They were kind of just baptized and didn't really know or understand because they were young. But they understood enough to know that they wanted to follow God. And they knew that that was the right thing to do. And so I hope that one day when they're older, they'll really be able to learn what baptism truly was and what it is that they did when they were 8 years old, 9 years old, and really have that foundation in their life for the future. But they were one of my favorite parts about being in Lyman. So yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. You are currently studying, what is it yet you are studying? I mean, I know, but I'm looking for you to answer the question.
I was like, you don't know? What the heck? Okay, no.
Oh, I know.
Elementary education.
Mm-hmm. And why are you studying elementary education?
Well, I love kids. So, okay, when I was in high school, I, of course, was going to be an Oscar-winning film director. And then we'll just go through my whole life story basically, because everything just kind of falls. Like it all comes back to like the surgeries and skating. Then that led me to get involved in film. So I did film for all of high school. And then my dream, like I mentioned before, was to go to BYU, Brigham Young University in Provo, Utah. And I made the music video and everything about it. And then I wasn't accepted to that school. And I knew it was kind of chancy. I knew, you know, with my extracurriculars and stuff like that, I didn't take as many AP classes as I probably should have. But I wasn't accepted. And so the next thing I knew is I'd known since I was 15 I wanted to serve an LDS mission that we just talked about. And so I decided to stay home for a year and work so I could go on the mission when I turned 19 and I was 18. So I decided to work and save up money, because we actually pay money to go on the mission and to help fund us. And so I got a job at a daycare by a huge miracle. I didn't think I'd get the job. I just randomly applied for it. And I guess it was just perfect timing. And so I was able to work at their summer camp and then stay on in the fall and work at their like daycare in the school year. And I worked with second and third graders and occasionally kindergarten and first grade doing that. And something just changed when I was working with them, like especially that summer, that first summer. I actually remember we did field trips with them on like Thursdays or something, and one of them was actually going to the skating rink and taking them ice skating. And I hadn't been ice skating in a couple of years at that point. And so, but I told my boss and everything, my supervisors, that I knew how to figure skate. And so they made sure that I was there at the field trip and on shift and everything so I could go with them and teach the kids how to skate. And something in that experience just changed me, because I used to do figure skating for myself because I enjoyed it, but then it kind of turned the table when I went with the kids and I was out there teaching the kids how to skate and helping them and supporting them, and I was focused entirely on those little kids who were so excited and so scared and so nervous to skate and not sure if they could stand up right, and are my skates on right, and oh my goodness, am I going to be able to do spins and stuff and jumps. um and when I was out there with them, I just realized how much I loved working with the kids and how much more important it is to look out for others. And so after that, I started to, I don't know, think more about having a job that isn't so much on film and on I don't know, just film wasn't as important to me as being with the kids was that summer and that school year. And I just decided that that was the plan that God had for me, was to work with kids. And so I decided I was going to go in and start being learn how to be a teacher and go into school for that. And I wasn't sure at first. I thought I wanted to do preschool and the little guys, like kindergarten, first grade, second grade. But as I've been in school, I haven't. It's only my first semester in college and everything, but I realized I think second and third grade I really like too, and even maybe fourth grade, we'll see. But I just love being with the kids and helping them, and so those experiences helped me to mold my path. And so now I'm actually in Utah. I'm at Utah Valley University, and so it's right there. It's 15 minutes away from BYU, and I live right by pretty close to BYU campus. So it's still the same life that I was going to have, just different school and a better school for what I want to go into. And so plans just all worked out according to what God wanted. I'm talking too much again. I do this a lot. I'm sorry, but yeah.
You do realize this is literally meant to get you to talk. So I don't know if there's such a thing as you talking too much.
I just feel bad when I feel like I'm talking too much. I'm just giving everyone my whole life story. You're welcome. Mm-hmm. Thanks for watching.
Oh no, this is. See, I try to refrain from telling people when I'm like, yes, you are. This is very much in line with your type, because I know how annoying and obnoxious that can be. But you're giving me gold here, so thank you for that.
Also, this is really good hot chocolate. For anyone who's watching, what you need to do is do half and half milk and half water, and mix it together, and then put in not 1, but 2 packets of hot chocolate. That's all I'm saying. Anyway.
Everybody remember that. Pro tip from Jessica.
Yeah. So good.
On your hot chocolate. So probably just 2 more questions. First one, do you have a favorite, I'm trying to think of how to phrase it. The way I want to phrase it is, do you have a favorite historical figure? I think that's how I want to do it. Or it doesn't, you don't have to choose just one, but just, I'm curious what figures from history you know about and have come to really respect, or who stick out to you.
Okay, define historical figure.
Well, because somebody who is currently dead, though I might change my mind on that depending on if you're. I'm thinking about just people who are famous, but generally people who are famous not for being actors or something like that.
Okay.
Because I know you like a lot of actors.
I do. Well, actually, the one I was thinking of isn't an actor, but he's alive. So,
well, who is it? I'm curious.
Scott Hamilton. He's an Olympic figure skater.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Okay, so he won the Olympics.
Well, tell me about him.
Okay, so he's a U.S. figure skater. A lot of people know him because now he's a motivational speaker and stuff like that, I think. But he won. Okay, So Evan Lysacek won the 2010 Olympics, and he was the next U.S. male to win the Olympics after Scott Hamilton. And so Scott Hamilton held the record as like US men's for a long time. And I can't remember what year he won the Olympics, but he is just like iconic. But the reason why I love him so much is because he actually, his story is really incredible. He actually got cancer after he won the Olympics, and he got brain cancer, and he was told he was never going to be able to figure skate again. But he fought really hard, and he was able to, like, I don't know what the phrase is. I'm not a doctor, but like the cancer went away and he was healed, right? It never really goes away, but it went away ish, you know, as much as it can, as much as cancer can go away. And he was able to, he skates, he still skates. And then he got cancer again and it went away. And then he got it again. Like he just keeps fighting cancer and it keeps coming back and he keeps finding tumors, but he fights so hard and he still gets out there on the ice and he'll go and do shows. And a lot of time he commentates, he'll commentate skating competitions and stuff. But he's just so passionate about skating and he never gives up no matter what happens. He's always out there. He's always getting back up after he falls. And he's just a huge example to me because a lot of times people in that situation, you know, they get brain cancer. They, you know, yeah, I'm not going to skate again. I have a deadly disease, but he still gets out there because he loves it and he still fights as hard as he can. And he's just a huge example of perseverance to me and faith. So he's incredible. If anyone doesn't know who Scott Hamilton is, just Google him and he's great. And he's so passionate. He's always so excited about skating when he's commentating. He just gets so excited when he's watching people skate and it's just it's contagious. So I love Scott Hamilton.
And final question. And originally I was thinking of making it a joke, but it is an actual question. Do you have a favorite movie?
That's a joke.
Well, no,
I have
not.
like 20 favorite movies.
Well,
okay, literally,
just name one or two.
Yeah, okay. So this is how I do movies. I have to like categorize them by like genre and by actor and by whether it's animation or, you know, live action. And then I have still in each of those categories 2 or 3 favorite movies. However, I will name a couple of the ones that like will forever be on there. There's like a list that I have of like just life-changing movies, basically. And so I'll name a few of those ones. I love The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Literally, guys, it changed my life. You all need to see it. Ben Stiller. I actually wrote like a 5-page paper on it for my English class. It was like a rhetorical analysis, and I wrote it on a scene from The Secret Life of Walter Mitty because it's so amazing. So if you haven't seen that, go watch it. And then Sahara with Matthew McConaughey and Steve Zahn and Penelope Cruz. Forever one of my favorite movies.
It's a family classic.
It's so
for
good.
Us.
It is a family classic, but like everyone else needs to see it. It's just this amazing adventure, action, comedy, romance, just everything tied into one, and it's great. I want to have a life like that. And then Singing in the Rain. I love Singing in the Rain. It's like my go-to on a rainy day, or when I'm sick, or when I'm just sad and need cheering up. I watch Singing in the Rain because who doesn't want to sing in the rain, right? So I love those 3. And then The Greatest Showman. It was like I saw it a few weeks after getting home from my mission. I saw it when I had just gotten out here to college and everything. My friends wanted to go and see it. And I was really skeptical of it, guys. Like, I just saw the poster. I hadn't seen the trailer. And I was just like, this looks like super boring. But I went and saw it, and it was incredible. And I still have music stuck in my head. I listen to it 24/7. I saw it the next week with another friend in the theaters. So if y'all haven't seen it yet and it's still in theaters where you're at, it is here in Utah. You should all go and see The Greatest Showman because it's just super inspirational and it gives me the chills and it made me cry a million times. So 4 greatest movies, missing like a million of them because I love movies so much. I can't have just one favorite. Those aren't even all my favorites. So they're the top ones.
So Actually, one last question. What was the scene that you wrote about from Secret of Walter Mitty, and why that scene? I'm curious.
Oh, I wrote about, I call it the ghost cat scene. It's the scene when Walter Mitty and Sean O'Connell finally like meet in person. Because not Ben, Ben Stiller, Walter has just gone all the way across. He's hiked all the way across the Himalayas to come and find him because Sean is like this famous photographer guy who like takes all these action photos and everything. And he is up in the Himalayas to get a photograph of the snow leopard, which is also called the ghost cat. And it's like this. It's basically like the climax of the whole movie. It's like what everything is building up to is him finally tracking him down because he needs a film negative. And then, so it's just like that whole scene and like the scene right after that when they're playing soccer with the Mountain Men guys. So that was a scene that I did because it's just so iconic and it like everything leads up to that moment. And it's, sorry, I'm shaking. It's so intense. It's sitting, the laptop is sitting on my lap right now. So it's, sorry if I gave anyone a seizure doing that. I apologize.
She is very passionate about this scene. You're waving your arms and everything. Well, I think that's all the questions that I have.
Okay.
So thank you very much for taking the time to be interviewed. Did you have any closing comments or anything?
Yeah, I do. This is super random, but I had my arm up like this and it made me think of it, and so I'm just gonna share it with you guys. I watched a TED Talk the other day about power poses. Have you heard of power poses before, Michael?
No.
You look so confused. Okay, so actually, it's like this whole study's been done. You guys should go and watch the TED Talk after this. But it's basically like the way that like your posture and the way that you pose has an effect on like your mind and how you think of yourself. Because you're always thinking of other people's body language, but then your own body language affects yourself too. And so if you're like always like slouched over, on your phone, I can't do it very well right now. Hang on. So like say like you're in class, you're like hunched over, you make yourself small, right? But then to be more confident, you make yourself seem bigger, you keep your shoulders up. So like you can do different poses like the Wonder Woman pose or like your arms up high or like this with crossing your legs. But if you make yourself seem bigger, then you're going to be more confident. Anyway, so I do that and it actually helps a lot. So you're looking so confused, Michael, but you all should go and watch the TED Talk because it's really cool and it's psychology. And I've got really into psychology.
I would just like to note that I am not sponsored by the TED Talk. This was not a commercial. I was not paid to give her a showcase for this. I wasn't expecting that to be your final comments, is all.
Sorry, is that bad for me to say?
No. It's perfect. It's gold. It's gold.
Oh, okay. Well, now you all know, according to the TED Talk I watched, if you want to be more confident, keep your posture up and look up and make your arms seem bigger. That's all I'm saying.
My final comment will be that as I several times said, this is a gold interview of an ESFJ. There's plenty of ESFJ evidence here. And if you're paying attention at all, then you should be able to pick up on it. So don't you dare comment that she's a different type. I'm just kidding. Go wild. I'm not going to censor you. I just thought I'd make a dumb joke about that. See, Jessica's smiling. That was the real reason. But maybe I'm just
smiling is good, guys. You should just smile. When you smile, then you become happier. Even when you're sad, you smile and you're just happier. It's positive psychology. I'm also into that right now. So just smile and drink hot chocolate. And life is good.
It's so ESFJ. Sorry, it's wonderful. Okay.
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 It's so Jessica, come on now.
Well, yes, but
this is just me. And
Well,
do
thank
yoga.
you. And do yoga, everybody. Be sure to do yoga. You have been commanded by my younger sister. Also, Wolverine Michael Pierce will come after you if you are disparaging of my sister in the comments below. So, not really. I'll just delete your comment. But
Oh, good. I'm
anyway,
glad. Hey, Wolverine. That's the UVU mascot. So
there we go. Well, I've got
anyway.
this beard now, and if you watch those videos about Wolverines, like they've got strong bite. They're vicious little
fierce.
beasts.
They are.
They are fierce
Go
little
Wolverines.
cretins like me.
That's my school.
Anyway, so yeah, I think that's everything. So thank you again. Thank you very much. I'm gonna stop the broadcast now, and then we'll hang up after that. So
Okay.